Welcome back, Nvidia all-time highs, baby. Market mastery, the 1 hour you need every week to make you money. If you've been following this Nvidia trade, we've been pounding the table over. You should be rich right now. You've had multiple opportunities to be up either 100%, 135%, or 50%. We've talked about this at critical levels as it has exploded, continually updating you. Make sure you do not miss it. We have been absolutely on fire the last, I just got to be honest with you. I'm pretty proud. We've been on fire the last couple weeks between Nvidia, Palantir, IonQ, name a couple more. I mean, what else have we nailed? It's been a great week. And the question is where should we expect this to go from here? As always, transparency is everything. So we wanted to show you, hey, it's not just we're talking about it, we are about it. These are actual. This is my screen right now. You can see it. Actually, I'm happy to refresh just to prove it. So I want everyone to know that, like, when we're talking about these are trades we're putting our real money into, so you can see play by play over the shoulder exactly what we're doing and how we're executing so that we can make some good money. And ideally, so can you by following along and taking the research for what it's worth and putting in your own insights so that you can make some money. So Nvidia to all-time highs. How do you feel about that? How does it make you feel on the inside?
I mean, I love it, especially because I think it's justifying that Nvidia might be taking us to the bull market for a third straight year, where everything that Nvidia has essentially carried the tech rally for the past 2 years, everything about the Blackwell demand is saying business will continue. It's going like the Blackwell chip, they already got $20 billion of commitments from Meta, Microsoft, Google, like all the commentary from like Jensen saying the demand's insane. It's getting backed up by customers after calling out the quantity of chips they're acquiring. So like I think history doesn't repeat itself, but often rhymes. Like I think this year or the next 12 months will follow suit what the last 12 months have been for all these the AI rally. And again, the AI rally has a ton of legs because nobody really knows the ceiling on that thematic. They just know it's an absolute reality and a game changer. And there's trillions of dollars in money funds sitting on the sideline that will not be getting that 5.5% interest rate anymore, risk-free. They're going to have to use that capital to get some AI exposure. And where do you do that? NVIDIA for hardware, Palantir for AI applications. Those are the two hotspots, and you're seeing that every single day. Those names are green. Doesn't matter what the market does. Those names are green. And NVIDIA has a ton of runway if the Blackwell chip just continues their margin expansion story. The revenue continues to chug along because their rapid innovation window is happening within months, not years anymore. Competition can't keep up, and it's just going to be NVIDIA's show to keep riding along.
I just can't believe it. I mean, dude. And the thing is, too, is like you got the meta news, right? You hit it spot on. So if you could, because I would love to hear this from you. I'd love to hear your opinion. Do you see any issues or risk with their capabilities of production that could possibly harm this rally?
So they already experienced that with like the design issue on their Blackwell chip. Guess what? Took them weeks to correct, and now it's business as usual. That's incredible because that was like a gut check on the rapid innovation they have to supply all the demand. Like that was their first hiccup in quite some time, and it only took a matter of weeks, not even less than 2 weeks, to figure it out and just keep chugging along. Like that just shows like if there's any kind of headwind going forward, it's going to be resolved in very efficient manner, and their dominance will continue. So I think the real issue for NVIDIA will be the margin deterioration due to competition, but that's proving that's going to be years out, not in the next 12 months like most people feared. And I think the market is a forward-looking mechanism. I think that they're going to be focused on the next 12 to 18 months, and that time frame, it's NVIDIA's game. Nobody else is going to be able to really affect their market share as significantly as anticipated, and that's why it's going to continue chugging along. Like NVIDIA at $5 trillion isn't such a wild statement to say that that's where they might be at in the next couple of years. And I'm holding a position, even though there's a cyclicality risk associated with the name. Don't put fear into a narrative that doesn't exist yet. That doesn't make sense to me. Just focus on what's happening right now. And you're seeing with the customers spending $20 billion, 3 customers alone spending $20 billion on NVIDIA chips. I'm not even including Singapore Oracle. Like, this is just 3 big tech customers. Imagine what everyone else is doing. Like, it's a great time to be an AI bull, and Nvidia is the king of it, and just ride and smile every single day.
Yeah, I just can't believe it. So I want to pull up the chart here so that we can get a closer look at what's going on. Talk expectations. Shortly after this, we will cover our SPY trades for the week. I've gotten some great feedback. As always, hit me on Twitter with a comment or a retweet. I love to hear when you guys are making money on those trades. Again, we trade both ways to always make money. Quick shout out to stocks, buddy, nailing this at 13 bucks for Nvidia on the monthly before it ran like a psychopath. So, we're pushing 139.56. So I think all-time highs were 140 and change. We're getting there. This has just been a magnificent run. If you look at the daily here, we have absolutely just chugged along this SMA here. I mean, it's been beautiful. Like, this has not violated trend at any point in time since January 23, when this, obviously saw some drawdown and there's huge opportunity to buy. So as far as what's next, I mean, we definitely need to see this break 140 and change all-time highs. I'm going to let those drawings pop back up there. I know it's a lot, but it gives you a good understanding of what levels we're watching. Remember, and look at this, dude, I got to give us some credit on the timing, right? As I told you guys, I used the fib arcs are meant to incorporate time into the equation. And look at that. We are basically hitting exactly on the dot as far as time's concerned of our expectation of the journey back to 140. So as you guys remember, we had descending resistance here. We broke up, and then we had our springboard moment, 115, boom, up. We hit it on the dot, which is, I'm impressed. I love these. I love using these. Long-term target, 170. We expect to get there by early 2025. Couple months along. If we continue on the top part of this range, that could happen even sooner. But just so you're fully aware, this is something we've talked about for months. So if you are not following this, make sure you give us a follow. If you're not following this podcast or show, whatever you want to call it, every week, you're missing out on that alpha that's going to make you rich. And I don't want to see that. So hit those comments if you made some money. Again, we love hearing it. It's a good kind of validator for us to know that we're talking about the right things at the right time, so you guys are getting benefit. This is for you as much as this for us. So as much as we love back and forth on the research, we want to make sure that you guys are getting what you came for, which is opportunity to make money, and that you're also taking advantage of it. So yeah, dude, this has just been absolute madness. I do think going forward, as far as price action goes today, I don't love it. We're going to wait for the weekly chart to shape up. We really need to see this area right here, 140. Like, we need to see that broken with volume, in my opinion. We're not there yet to where I'd feel maximum confidence, but I will say on the weekly, our RSI ticked back positive. So that is a good sign. Do you see any potential headwinds that maybe we're not talking about or paying attention to at the moment?
I might be the minority in this, but I'm still flabbergasted at the lack of concern on the election. If the polls are saying Trump's extending his lead, so I'm just going non-political, just purely what the polls are saying. That is going to be bring some turbulence in the semiconductor space due to the potential volatility associated with the Trump-led presidency for the semiconductors. That's when Nvidia maybe can get some kind of headwind on that narrative. But again, I sold all my hedges last week, like I said on this call. I fully believe we're going to pull back, but I'm not going to be fighting the stock action or the Fed. And it's really dangerous to call a top on the market. Like, you get busted out if you try to do that. So once we hit the new all-time highs last week, I was like, I'm out. I'm just going to raise my cash position. So I think right now, there is some kind of a headwind on Nvidia, it's not their Blackwell demand anymore, because that's proving business as usual. It's purely if Trump becomes president, there might be some China trade war, and that's not good for semiconductors at all. And that might be a narrative that I'm willing to actually buy the dip on, but that might bring, I don't know, I could see that bringing Nvidia to 125, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I think that's like a 10% correction, if that. So any kind of dip, in my opinion, is buying opportunity, because I do think November, December, once we get past that election catalyst, and the Fed cuts rates again and earnings coming strong, like I think the end of the year is going to be bonkers, like bonkers, like 20, like last November and December. Like it's just going to be a crazy time. And if no new data is like going to go against the soft landing narrative, I just think that we're going to go like nuclear, like really in the market. Like I just don't see, technically speaking, it's absolutely bullish. Fundamentally, we're the Fed's on our side finally in years.
Yeah.
And the labor market's a little heartburn, but it's nothing to cry over. It's still semi-healthy. This is an incredible environment. And I just don't know what the bear case is except for geopolitical risk. But I feel like that's always there. It's been there for the past decade. So, unfortunately, some kind of like geopolitical tension. Like that's not something that will pivot this market rally it's been on the past 2 years. Like it just won't. So it's the golden era almost. Like it really is. Like the AI thematics that create this golden era for us.
I know. And on that note, I have been, because I realize that's somewhere I need to be a little more informed, the geopolitical side, to understand the mechanisms, right, that drive the overall market, because it's all political power. That's what all of this is. At the end of the day, dude, I think the United States is in one of the best positions they've been in for a long time, despite what it may appear. When you look at it, right, and I don't want to go too far into it because I don't want to get into some weird political thing, but like World War II, right? The point was the Russians wore down the Germans. That's how the war was won, right? They just threw them at the wall. You look at Ukraine and you begin to wonder, man, if you can get Putin to spend all his money fighting this war in Ukraine, that delevers China, that needs it, right? It addresses the Iran situation, right, which U.S. is concerned about, scared about. It gives power back to Saudi Arabia, a longtime U.S. ally that they always seem to get in bed with. And it also lifts up Israel. So if you look at like the core allies of the United States, they're all winning in this transaction situation, whatever it is, right? Because China's aging out. We already know that. The data's clear. China's aging out. Their debt is wearing thin. Junk bonds are getting called in. It's not good. Chinese market's not good.
So that is the worry I have, though. Like if they're put in the corner, which they're slowly looking like they are, the economy's not doing well. They're preventing a collapse by the infusion of capital, and the world's reliance on Taiwan is diminishing as time goes on. Like again,
didn't
like,
the U.S. become the world's largest, or for this year, aren't we exporting more oil than anywhere else?
We might be. I actually don't know.
I believe we are.
But I know we're about to be making a shit ton of chips now. And I know Europe is increasing their presence on creating chips. Like the reliance on China is diminishing. And like, again, like, I don't know what that does to the response or whatever they want to do. But if I was America, like all I'm doing is biding as much time as possible because they're doing all the moves necessary to not rely so much on the eastern side of the world. So again, we're not getting too political, but God bless America. Like we're in an amazing spot right now. Like we really are.
It is. And it's like the key here, I think, is sustaining the smaller sides of the economy that often get pushed to the back of the line. And we need to see that happen. Like we need to see small business growth. We need to see people having that opportunity. We don't want to see a series of conglomerates just eat it all up. There is also the equation with AI wherein, like, you know, how many of these jobs will be replaced? And if so, what does that do to the economy? Like, does that drive the skill set up on the bottom 10%, or does it push them down to be further marginalized, which that wouldn't be good?
I will say I am speaking of someone who fortunately that's not a worry of mine, but that is a real worry. Like, that's why I always urge so many people, like, don't be fearful. Go use your capital to like grow for you, because there's going to be a certain point in the future where it's going to be harder and harder to get yourself out of the bottom 10%. It's the lead due to capitalism in the post AI world is going to be drastic, where you feel like you're in a hole. You have no idea what's going to be like in like 5 to 10 years. It's going to be even more of a hole you have to try to get out of. That unfortunately automation will close that hole for you. It's like, that's why the urgency that's required right now in this day and age is drastic, because I've had multiple people I respect and admire, who are just like highly successful in their world, the different industries, telling me the time to become a millionaire, if you're not a millionaire already, is going to be significantly lower in 10 years, like to a point of impossible. So my 2 cents on that, just don't be fearful. Do as much knowledge you can learn right now, to learn as much skill as you can learn right now before automation takes over, and whatever you're born into, that's what you're going to be in. That's just how, what I've been told and what I've been reading, like it feels like that is the scary future we live in. So right now, when things feel like there's a possibility or a chance, take that chance. Like, don't be fearful.
Great, dude. I'm up 20% this month. That's crazy.
Let me see.
But only, well, I did have a drawdown. So the year to date, baby. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
121 year to date, baby. Come on now.
Yeah, so let's talk some individual stocks. What else was an outlier today?
So if you see one, call it out. Otherwise, there's a few that I was going to discuss. Like,
we
take a look. Let me hit the spot.
Your graph.
Yeah, here. Let me hit the spot. You take a quick look. See if anything sticks out while I'm nailing this S&P situation. All right. So we have broken clear out of any and all ranges that we had mapped. So when that occurs, what does one do? Right? This is the question that's on all of our minds. This thing is absolutely ripped. I can't even get it on the screen. Right? So when in doubt, fib it out, baby. When we don't know, because we are entering a series of price discovery, we try to use past ranges to find those beautiful points of those beautiful points of convergence, right? Where we can really kind of nail down. And I'd say 589 is the next one. And I already mapped this out earlier, so I just did it so that you could see what I was doing here. Is taking this concerted range from January to October, right? 6 to 8 months of price data, and using that to line up with how the fibs are retracing, right? You could also use this one right here, which puts us, I would say, 598, so about $10 higher. So if you really want to do this the right way, you would basically extrapolate all these out and then find those areas of confluence. Looks like I did it wrong the first time, which is putting us like 595 to 599. So when this market, and hopefully Porter can find the video, when this market in October of 22 is trading off the lows, I told you we're going to 530. If we can break over that, we're going to $600. That was 2 years ago. We gave you this alpha. You already knew. Market's going to 600. If it breaks 530, which that was trade one, we told you it's going to 600. That's trade two. Thousands of percent if you're swinging options, just FYI. So let's dial in on this right here. Okay, so we've got our new level that we're going to have to take a little liberty on to guess, right? Puts us, let's just call it 598. We know that we're ranged between 574, 598. I would use this gap as the bottom here, which puts us maybe, call it 580. So $18 gap, that's pretty big. We're not going to know until we hit any significant resistance, but also all-time highs. Boom, done. We don't know. Price discovery. So for those that don't know, do some Google and look up what price discovery is. It basically means the stock has not yet found the ceiling. So we have to be extremely bullish in these situations because Nvidia, case in point, it hit a blue sky breakout. There was no resistance. There was no overhang. There was simply discovery, a new frontier. Where can it go? Nobody knows. The S&P is experiencing that same thing right now, where no one knows where the top is. So in most cases, people are going to hold the line, and they already bought the dips, and they're going to continue to go in. And if the market gains, as Shai said, extreme confidence, you've got a lot of sideline money that might start participating. In that event, boomtown, we hit it and we go. So for this week, for the options trades, unless we break below 580, we're going to ride with the bulls. I would say that's the only situation where we go bearish. So what would that trade look like? Let me show you. So I got to switch this really quick. So what would that trade look like? Let's go. We got to pull up the SPY options chain. Okay, trade SPY options.
While he's doing that, I'm calling you right here. SPY will hit 600 by end of the year. It's going to go an extra 10%, I think. What is it at right now, actually?
584.
Oh my God, never mind. It's just an extra 3%. That's not even that big of a statement. Never mind. Jeez.
All right, so we talked about. So look, you either go out of the money and like 600 calls could see a lot of appreciation. I would say I call this a lotto. This would be a lotto trade for me. These 600 calls for 14 days from now. I'm not betting the farm on this, but that's a fun. If you got like again, this account's 200 grand. If I throw 50 bucks, I don't care because the ROI is 10 to 1. So if I lose it, I lose it. So keep in mind, if you have a smaller account, that's not going to make sense for you, and it's important that you allocate the risk efficiently. So what we're going to do here, because of how much we've run, I would venture to say that I'd like to go in the money or near the money so that as soon as this continues to accelerate, that delta sets up and we start making money. So I'm going to probably go with this 585 call right here. At the open, if we open strong, or let me go to the 15-minute. A secondary situation when we don't have price data would be to follow this. I think we have this as a 20-day SMA because we have just followed it to a T. It's actually lagged a little bit more than I expected. So we touch down, we touch up. Let's see. So if we hold, actually, okay, we do have some data to work with. This is okay. It's just intraday data, which doesn't give it a ton of credibility. But I would lean on this line right here. So this is good. Now we're gonna have this trade mapped out. So we've got our SPY options chain up. We're talking about the 585 call, and now we're going to talk about what we're going to do to trade it. And I'm going to keep this quick because we have a lot to cover in a short period of time. But you've got the SPY chart here. So we're going to call our bottom 583 and change. If we open with any sort of weakness, I'm going to watch the interaction with this line right here. And again, make sure you follow the TradingView account we have. It's just the same name, Penny Boys, I believe, or PB Alerts. I'm going to publish this chart so you can just go look at my chart, but I do suggest you follow along and add this. I like 583.5 as kind of a median point where this can hold. So to give you some perspective, if we open weak and we get these support touches here, that's the go long opportunity in my opinion. When we get a break and then a support confirmation above, that's when I would go 585 calls. They would be even cheaper than you just saw because they would be out of the money, which would be a great trade. That's our bullish trade. The bearish trade is also very simple. If we show weakness and we come down below 583.5 and then we get rejected on the push back up, confirmation below this line, I am going to go for the 582 puts. Same expiration. We're going to go 2-3 weeks out. I like 14 days out because this is intraday. This is moving quick, and I think it's going to go quickly when it does. I would be buying on the confirmation 15-minute at the resistance touch 583, and I would trade this down to 580. Simple and done. No matter which way the market goes, up or down, you're going to make money if you follow these levels and you can understand and manage these trades. So I just wanted to break that down so you have your SPY options trades. If we come below 580, it's going to be awesome because we'll probably see high 570s, I think potentially even to 578. And then if we lose that, then we're heading right back to 574, which is a pretty critical support that I really wouldn't mind seeing on the chart here. So that's kind of where we'd expect price to go, is to intersect right here. So for what it's worth, those are your SPY trades. Trade them in wheat, make your money. If you're not in the Discord, I post all these, and there's an in-depth analysis. You can get it there. I also want to mention right before he gets into it, with one of those names that he found, make sure you check out his newsletter. It's unbelievable. You want to go through a couple recent picks from the newsletter?
Yeah. So if you guys don't know my newsletter, my Stocks Savvy Prime's $4 a month, and what you get from that is one deep dive a week in what I believe are really interesting companies and potential winners in the AI, e-commerce, semiconductors, quantum computing, any like real secular growth theme for the next decade. I'm covering the winners, my favorite kind of picks associated with that, and 1,000+ word detail on why I'm bullish and like what the fundamentals are showing me as well against their peers. So I started with Snowflake. I've done IonQ, and this upcoming one is ASML. So they are reporting their earnings on Wednesday, and I think this is a name that is actually catching a bid today. I think they're up 4% today. And if you guys don't know, they're essentially one of the three, what I believe are monopolies in the digital economy on the hardware space: NVIDIA, ASML, and TSM. Those are the three kings. And ASML has some China fears associated with it. They're going through a weird sales cycle. And I think it's a potential buying opportunity where, looking at their chart right now, they caught a bid today, but they did. Let's look at their weekly.
Is this an
I'm
$800 stock?
It is. It's a Netherlands stock too, so it's might be restricted on some brokerages. But I do think that it held this anchored VWAP from October 2022 on the weekly chart. I can share my screen.
Oh yeah, go for it.
So if you look on the weekly chart, so I love an anchored average VWAP. If you guys don't know what that is, essentially I pinpoint when new buyers come to a stock, and from that point on, is every stock has a new characteristic because new investors either bought a bottom or got convinced of something that they said in their earnings or some kind of news headline that draw a gorgeous wick candle and volume associated with it. So I noticed that, whoa, over here, pulling back, something changed here where increased volume, gorgeous wick on the weekly channel, new investors came in here. So I tracked this as, all right, let's see how the behavior goes. Boom, boom. It's held up. Brief violation during last year's sell-off around actually this time. But it held. It was pretty tamed. Went up. Boom, right here. Again, it defended during the September sell-off we experienced that 1 week. And now it looks like it wants to go higher. Once it clears the 21 EMA, which it looks like it's showing some resistance, I think the catalyst on Wednesday on their earnings could be what it needs to, again, test a new all-time high, and that right here is going to be a 26% move. So in the newsletter, I do go over my bull case fundamentals, what I envision them in the new digital economy, and like I do sprinkle in some technical indicators of like when I would add or not. So that's just one of the stocks, but I did cover this on there, and I think it's an interesting name to watch. I think they're reporting Wednesday before markets, but it's Netherlands time, so it might be Tuesday late night. It won't be like maybe 4 a.m. or 7 a.m. Eastern Wednesday morning. But either way, one of the key winners I wanted to share. Next one I want to say was, let's see, IonQ. IonQ is looking like it's picking up.
Yeah.
So if you look over here, it's essentially been basing for quite some time. Right here is a good one. Right, boom. It's been basing since 2023. Essentially, it flew up and then started basing, but amazing floor around the 640 level. It's just showing a clear support, and now it looks like as the 21-week EMA is curling back up, this is showing me like once it gets past this, like this volume. Actually, let's see where's my volume. I don't like that. So it's identify when there's a turning point. Great lesson being following through how I find it. I could do over here, but you can see it's very thin, and I hate increasing the volume based on the bloated 2020, 2021 because that was just more gambling rather than investing. So I like to do a post bubble bursting, and the first one I indicated, oh, look at this candle followed up with volume. I like this one as my anchored VWAP right there. So let's see what this says right here. It's right when it started breaking out, and it was also where the gap essentially fills consistently. This is showing like once it clears like this 1150 level, it is thin here. It's going to hit right here, actually, this blue line, $14. And I could see it maybe resisting around 14 to 15. But either way, I think I sent out a newsletter when it was around right here. It was $7 or $8 a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, as we mentioned on stream. So you'd be up about 50% right now if you just subscribe to that newsletter. Just FYI.
Exactly. And I think there's room for this name, especially just showing strength consistently. It's above that $10 psychological SPAC price. Yeah. And it's actually held up pretty well. And quantum computing is the next frontier after AI. And you never know when that industry, the market's forward looking. You don't know when that industry specifically will start catching a bid. Either way, there's very few players in it. And IonQ is really interesting technology that might be a first mover advantage, and they're worth less than $3 billion in market cap. When IonQ specifically has called out the next 10 years, the TAM on quantum computing will be $850 billion.
It's wild.
So again, ton of runway, but either way, short term, I think 14 to 15 bucks will be a near-term resistance, but even from here, that's a 30% move.
It's a big move. I mean, you got today actually one I was going to pull up. If we can, are you good to move off that one?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this young buck right here. Pressing resistance right now, which is fantastic. As you can see, our trajectory is up no matter what, as long as we maintain trend. As we mentioned in some of the past commentary, you have a nice little liquidity zone here where this could move very quickly to the 20s. We were buying this at about $4. So just FYI, if you're hearing it now, you're a little late. Yet another reason. It was funny when that guy earlier, when you're sharing me that message, he's like, I paid, it's just $4. It's $4 a month. That's it. Putting a lot of time, hours and hours every week. Guys like, yeah, I paid for my membership for the next 50 years. That's wild. So think about it. If you have 1,000 to allocate into these names, like for instance, I'm up 15, 20% on Jumia already. The options are up even more. So make sure you're trading them alongside us if they make sense to you. This chart is looking ready to go. You got massive gap opportunity. We should have never sold off that much. It would have been fair to say, let's come back to 7, reposition. That makes sense. Should not have lost 2/3 of its value in such a short time over currency related issues. I will also say this. I've been doing, like I said, a little more geopolitical research. The South African countries are primed. They have been developing infrastructure. They are resource heavy. I think the people, the culture is a very driving, hardworking culture of people that are willing to do what it takes to get there. I look at it as almost like like America in the early days. It was like everyone's a young upstart, hungry, wanting for more, ready to go. The world is your oyster. Let's conquer it. I see a lot of that there in a lot of these developing countries. You see a lot of it. And the digital got just the leveling of the playing field digitally, right? To where now almost everyone has access. I mean, Starlink being a component of that, like people having access to Wi-Fi. I don't know. If I'm in America and I have a digital job and I'm not grinding it out in the best in class, I'm concerned about my job. Plain and simple.
I mean, you're right. I mean, also, if you're bullish on Starlink, like Elon Musk's company, and you can't invest in it, what's an avenue or vehicle you can use to capture off the bullish, whatever Starlink's going to do, is the push towards globalization. If Starlink succeeds like it is right now, underserved areas like Africa are going to benefit the most. Yeah. The globalization is going to be so rapid once Starlink scales at the pace it can in the next couple of years that Jumia, being a $400 million e-commerce leader in an underserved area where people were just only essentially the upper middle class and rich can only afford to buy Jumia because they just have the resources in order to even just purchase it online. If that changes, the population in that region is absurd. And I'm not even saying like Jumia is going to be like the mega cap company or worth over $50 billion. I'm just saying, I think they can go from 400 to $5 billion, maybe 10, and then maybe get scooped up by then from an Alibaba, a Walmart even, or even an Amazon. Like that's where maybe I could see it. But either way, like I don't think that far ahead. I just know it's absurd. It's being traded at less than $1 billion. And there's no more solvency risk. It's diminished, maybe low single digit chance. But either way, they have 3 years of cash runway right now. And I'm pretty confident, especially in the management they've spoken on interviews, that they're going to get break even by sometime next year. And once that occurs, I think this name is going to run like it did before, where it hit $15. Like, I don't think it'll stop next time. And the reason it dipped 66%, it was currency issue on their earnings, but also poor corporate governance where management's always known as bad traders when they want to dilute shareholders by raising funds. So like they're German or corporate, they're incorporated in Germany, not America. So there's different rules on how quickly they can like raise shares in order to raise those funds. I think they had a matter of like 30 or 60 days, when in America it's like whenever. just do whenever. Like there's a time slot on that. So they want it as soon as possible so they can reinvest into their growth avenues. But pairing that with an earnings miss due to currency issues, that's going to be a perfect storm to essentially push reiterate the trauma that a lot of prior Jumia investors experienced in that bubble bursting. Like, I get it. You had that scar and it opened up due to poor trading from the management, but like the thesis is not broken. Like, stock price might have looked broken. Thesis actually expanded. And if you have the long-term vision of 5+ years, this was an amazing opportunity. I doubled my position. I went like, even though I bought below $3 or $4 and held it throughout the way up to $15, it was a 1% position that turned 2%. When it pulled back underneath $5, I doubled my position. Now it's a 2% position. Like, it's still minimal. My risk is still pretty low for my portfolio. Like, if it goes down if I lose that whole position, my portfolio's down 2%. Essentially, it moves that much anyway every couple of days. Like, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. But if I'm right, that 2% position will turn to a 10% position. That's what happened in Palantir. Palantir for me started as a 2 or 3% position. Like, I was like really bullish on the technology, had issues on their commercialization strategy due to the black box narrative around them. And I was like, oh, I'm really interested in their technology. I think their tech's absolutely real. If AIs are real, thematic that people are going to adopt, Palantir will be the first application layer of that. That proved correct. And I just started a 2 or 3% position. Guess what? I'm like triple my money now in the name. Haven't sold any of that original cost basis except for 10% in this most recent pull. Like, after years of owning it, I sold for the first time like 10% just to raise my cash position. But either way, it's 12% position for me. That's how you manage risk on Moonshot, or like, whoa, I think this is like a multi-bagger, but I need validation, see if they come through. Palantir did the same thing, and I started 2 or 3% position. Jumia again. If Jumia is a dud, and by 2026 or end of next year, there's no visibility on their cash break even, I'm out. I might just go and buy Leaps, as like, I think they're gonna. My thesis is still like somewhat there. It's a yellow flag. I'm not gonna commit a position in it. I'm just gonna buy Leaps. If I'm right, I'm make a ton of money on those Leaps. So that's my mentality on Jumia, and that also my advice on like how to maneuver these like high risk, high reward like companies. Like, don't go 10% right off the bat. Like, let them grow into those monster positions. Don't start off with your own capital to have a monster position before they grow into it.
I agree. I think that, like, just keep in mind, guys, like, when we're talking about these names, how much, like, full disclosure, right? Like, let's just be, how much you got in that portfolio of yours over there, buddy?
300, 300K.
Right. So you're talking about a what percentage position?
2. So I can tell you right now, I'm looking at it right now. I have 1,000 shares, so it's actually really easy to say what it's at. I have $5,300 in it right now.
So, number one, let's keep this in mind. I want to make sure that this is said. It doesn't matter what you have in that account. This is not an intent. Like, you shouldn't feel better or worse about yourself based on what's in there. The focus is on the allocation and the percentages. If you got $100 and you can only buy a share because that would be appropriate allocation, so be it. You're getting the upside. We don't ever want this to be dog and pony of like, well, no, this isn't possible because I don't have 200 grand. What'd you start that account at?
Like, back at like 100K. Yeah.
So it's tripled, right? My one account that you've seen, it's got 200-something thousand. That started at about 32. It's at 200, 2 years. Keep that in mind. If you even started with 3 grand, okay, where would that put you? If you're looking at a 3x, 4x on that account, okay, you're at 10. Once you hit 10, escalating that more quickly to make reasonable gains it's so much easier. When you hit 10, you can allocate $1,000 position. If you make 10%, 15%, it's $100, $200, right? It's easier, but I want to keep that at the forefront of everyone's mind that, like, look, it might not make sense to buy 100 shares of this if you only have $200, $300, $400, whatever it is. I guess 500 because it'd be $400. The point is, focus on the percentages, focus on the risk allocation, understand what we're saying here. I don't want to see anyone get beat to death. Like, we don't want to see that. Quick question, because you're Mr. TMDX from East 6th Street, New York City.
Oh, yeah. So management has like, it was like semi-hard. I will say before I start, I am a little weirded out on the price action on Transmedics. Like, I don't understand it. Maybe it's small caps aren't showing too much strength, but the ones that have been the major laggers. So maybe the repositioning in small cap world has been just trying to get those short squeezes right now. So that could be the case, but management wasn't as bullish in the near term on that conference, like you just mentioned, Morgan Stanley. Like they weren't, and they ran up so much. But again, if you look at their fundamentals, it's gaining so much momentum. Their adoption and their full like white glove service. Like I think they're growing the top line triple digits this year. I want to double check before I say it. So TMDX is growing, supposed to grow 84% this year. Top line growth with 10% net income margins, and they're GAAP profitable. I just don't think you really see that anywhere except in the hardware space where it's cyclical. So unfortunately, organ transplant services isn't cyclical unless there's like COVID. But like, again, like I don't want to. It's not cyclical. So right now, it's estimating that next year's revenue growth is going to be 31%. It's really hard for me to believe that there's going to be a drop off of 84% to 31% when they're only just beginning their aviation acquisition into their white glove service. Like I think it's going to be closer to 50%. And because of that delta between sell side of 31% and what I believe is 50%, I'm buying any kind of dip in Transmedics. And right now, I added Transmedics for first time in forever. Like my cost basis is under $50. I added at 130. Maybe only like I own 160 shares. I added 5 shares. That's fine. Like just nibble at it. Like that's all I'm doing. And
it's actually a perfect ad. We already had this charted out. Look at that.
And so I added. That's exactly what I have charted in my on my graph. So like I was like, I'm adding here. It's holding. I don't want to add too much because in case there is some kind of near term like resistance guide on their earnings. So who knows what it is? All I know is like Rule 40 score is 194. Like I think this is one name that's like just has. It's very rare to find a name that's worth under $5 billion that has a network effect moat with no competition, except for an icebox. That's essentially what Transmedics is. Their competition is an archaic icebox, and nobody can really duplicate what they're doing on the white glove service. That I'm fine with any kind of short-term turbulence, and this name is, if it consolidates here, it's fine. Like I want to build it up. I do treat this as one of my bonsai positions, my portfolio, where I have 5 names that are more than 50%. And of those 5 names, I will be continually to add if they're showing any kind of stock weakness, even though their business is executing. So Transmedics is one of those names. But yeah, to whoever East 6th Street, it's weird. The appetite of buying isn't there, but also the sell-off isn't that drastic either. It's just, I think it's just chilling until they see the fundamentals in their next earnings report.
Yeah, and I think you also like that buy from you is solid, right on trend. But I also think you have your 20-day coming up here at 120. Like that even offers another opportunity. Again, the name of the game, guys, is good names at the right price. And if you're buying a good name at a discount and you're winning, this is cost averaging in over time, not expecting one quick rip up. So again, it all depends on your strategy underlying it. But as far as like long-term equity positions go, if the business is positioned for growth and the market is going to continue to grow, then it's always a discount if I buy it off the bottom.
What does Stock Buddy say on the monthly?
That's a good question, because
that's always my like, ooh, how aggressive should I be on adding?
Really?
Yeah, it's really accurate. It's actually kind of scary accurate.
Stocks Buddy says, "Hey, welcome to Sportsville."
I'm not
welcome
worried.
to Sportsville. It is the move. It is the move. If you're interested, you just go to stocksbuddy.com. It does a lot of the work that we do for you. So don't replace us. Just supplement us. But yeah, it is. I mean, look at the last couple calls. Bullish at 13, went to 48, went bearish at 33, came down to 12. Then it went bull again at 17 before it ran to 96. Bear went from 95 down to 38, and then it flipped bull again when we hit 70 went to one. So it's like 100% moves. Boom, 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 boom. So indicators are great confirmation, guys. If you're struggling with the confidence at certain times, because it is hard. Sometimes you see these names beaten down, and you're like, "Well, shit, am I on the wrong side of this?" Like I said, case in point, we had Nvidia up earlier. Case in point here, stocks buddy buy at 14. Sorry, let me get rid of all this nonsense. Stocks buddy buy at 14. It gave the take profit at literally the top. See the take profit right there? Literally the top. Literally. And then support at 90, and look what happened. Boom, done. Now it's back up. Don't see a take profit signal right now, so rest assured. Hopefully it's going to keep going. But yeah, this thing is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But yeah, looking at it on the monthly is crisp. So just so we have a little bit of time, drop some tickers in the chat. If you want us to go through a little smash or pass, we can knock it out quickly and efficiently. Make sure that you guys always, if you're following on Twitter, give us a follow and comment on the stream so that we stay in the loop. If you comment on the stream and you want any sort of access, we have some free guides and stuff. Just comment DM and we can shoot that over or shoot you the link. We need to get you into Stock Savvy Prime, so you got that coming to you at least once a week. You have the alpha and all the best picks. If you want to trade live with us, you can do that in the Discord. Just go to wap.com/PB alerts, or you can find it in the link in the Penny Boys bio. All right. Let's see it. Mr. ETH6 Street. We're giving you the first taste. OKLO.
I love nuclear. I love the nuclear theme. So Oklo is not that great of a company, but it's a great vehicle to capture the alpha in nuclear right now. And there's a ton, especially after you're seeing all the big tech essentially investing in these nuclear sites. History doesn't repeat itself, but often rhymes. What did big tech essentially do for the hardware space? Invest in AI on the hardware. What do they have to do to fuel the AI demand? Energy. How? Nuclear. You're seeing it right now in front of your eyes. This theme is not short-lived. It's going to be for the rest of the decade. So I love it.
Yeah, Stocks Buddy gives it the smash at $8. So it's up about, 20-30% right now. Ooh, bear at 18. It went down to 543. So yeah, I mean, nuclear is interesting. Uranium is on a tear. I think there's a lot of really good options there. Next up, DPZ. Isn't this Domino's Pizza? Yeah, the Shaq Special. And this is one of Shaq's biggest investments.
Is it?
I think so. Isn't he a shareholder? Large shareholder.
I wouldn't be.
Stocks Buddy says bear, and honestly, I would agree on the monthly. You got a double top here. You didn't cross higher high. Not a big fan. And I don't know. I mean, the pizza business would fare well in a struggling economy, though.
Totally.
I mean, I feel like that's an either or. Like whether you're winning or losing. I mean, people are going to buy the pizza. Either we're making great money, let's just eat out and get pizza. The question is, do they go to Domino's? I don't know, but no interest from me. I'm going to give that a pass, and we're just going to keep it moving here. ESTC. What is going on here? Elastic. No idea.
Oh, who wrote this? I love
Tammy.
Yeah, I have I don't know if I mentioned this. I got a trade involved in Elastic after that gap down earnings. Long story short, like I don't think they're going to be a platform player, and you have to be a data platform player in the post AI world. However, they have a niche in their search product. I think it was way too cheap when it was $70. I don't think it belongs over 100, but we had that dead count balance. I don't think it's going to move too much to the next earnings, but they had a really big sales issue on like different strategies, all on the COO's. Like that's all on him, and they missed their guide. But it's not because their demand is poor. It's just the hand opportunity salesman was really poor, and that's on the COO. So I got in. I got out though recently once we had that dead cap balance, but I like this name.
BBWI. And thank you for clarifying. Suncoast. Shaq is in Papa John's, so not Domino's. That's my bad. Bath and Body Works. Weird buying. Why are they getting that buying? How is this still happening? How is this still?
It's a bet that I won't go bankrupt. That's the only way you would buy this name.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that a pass, dude. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It's just making me upset. that they're even making that kind of money. I mean, it's been a great business for a long time. The question is, will it grow? The answer is no. MU at a very critical. This is one chart I am a little disappointed in myself for missing. I already had the trend line drawn. I was going to draw it. Perfect scoop right there. Why wasn't I buying at 87, 89? I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid. Who knows? But I missed my chance, and I'm a little disappointed. Even though it is bearish on the stocks, buddy, on the monthly until it violates the trend, I'm a fan. Looks like it did go bull on the weekly, and it does have volume. So that is very interesting right now. What are your thoughts on this one?
I think they had a really strong earnings and show the demand's really strong in the memory side of their chips. And for memory chips, I think they always have this overhang that memory is a commodity. So like that won't escape. But if the AI part is real and NVIDIA is launching a new leg and via Blackwell, Micron's going to catch a bid.
Yeah, I think it is too. We might have to craft a little options fun around that because it does look like it's about to hit that breakout, baby. That's what's looking right now. Like it's itching. It's itching. I'm going to throw one in the ring right now just because I think it needs to be said because like while you were talking a few minutes ago, I put some more money into it. And that is Bitcoinius. Bitcoin, dude.
Oh, I love
this chart is
right
just
now.
premier. Look at that chart.
No,
Premier.
Once we clear 75,000, it's going to get fun.
Porter, we need to find this. I posted this chart back in December of 2022 with my expected target to be 56K. So 300% increase. Nailed it. And I think it's going to keep going. But Porter, if we could find that, that would be ideal. A little proof post. Because we nailed that from the lows. I put pretty much every dollar I could get my hands on at 17K. I threw into this. And it was a phenomenal trade. I have since rolled some into other currencies, but all of which are at the top of the line. None of the I don't do the altcoin stuff. Like power to you if you do, but I don't have the time to be getting all into that. Those brokerages are so weird. I don't like messing with them. But Bitcoin, I'm giving a hard smash. I actually just texted my dad because he missed the last run. I mean, I told my dad about Bitcoin when it was below $1, but he didn't want to listen to me at that time. Had he put in 1,000, he would have 5 billion in his pocket right now, but that's neither here nor there. If you're listening, Dad, I'm still a little sad and disappointed, but we'll move on. Oh, this chart actually looks decent. I don't know what this is, but Pennant Park.
No, I have no idea what that is.
This is Takac. Good find. Breakout over $8. This is very interesting. I think this is worth I don't know what they do, but I love me a breakout over like almost 8, 785. And this thing has some upside. You just need to see a couple more buyers come to the party. But this breaks out. This is a breakout trade. So add this to your watch list. This is an easy Momo trade. UEC. Oh, is that ripping already? Of course, I have none of it because I'm an idiot. God damn it, dude. Oh, come on. Off the trend line like that? Shit. Look at that. That's a beautiful chart right there. Stays north of 6.25. This thing's good to go. Let's see where can it go.
I will say I gotta hop off in a minute, so we can do one last one or closing thoughts.
APLD.
Let's do APLD.
Applied Digital Corporation. Oh, that chart is not. Oh, I didn't see that part load, but this is interesting because it looks like this thing just rips when it rips. It's trading down to 43 cents, went to $34. What in the hell? This thing does look like it's got some upside. Looks like I already had a level there, 750. Very interesting. Very interesting. This thing could boom to 9 very easily in a habur. What do you think? You know anything about it?
I don't know anything about it, but it looks like if it can hold this level, it looks like it can retest $12.
Yeah. Hey, just so you guys know, we're going to be live again on Twitter in like 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So come check it back out if you missed him. And I'm going to wrap this up, and then we're going to get out of here with a couple more. See you later, dude. I'll see you in a little bit. Rivian, JK. We'll hit that Rivian, baby. Oof. Pass. That chart is brutal. We're moving on. UPST. God, Revving had so much potential. Oh, there it is. This one's near and dear to my heart. I think we were buying this one when it was consolidating here in the 20s, were we not? God bless it. Should have held more. It's doubled over 50. I think you really got to see it break out over 67, and then you definitely have some upside. But until then, I would hold the line and wait because there's a lot of risk there. MSTR, yeah, absolutely. We can take a quick look. MicroStrategy. Keep in mind they hold a ton of Bitcoin, so on their balance sheet, I do believe. This one over 135 is very interesting. Very interesting. This is super interesting. 200 key level. Yeah, there's really nothing until the mid 300s if this goes. That's pretty crazy. That this was trading at like $5-6 for years and years and years, and is now trading at 200. This thing can absolutely go. But yeah, I do believe it's crypto balance sheet. Oh, Porter, it's going to be on Spaces, so we don't need to do it through StreamYard. It's going to be actually on Spaces. I'm joining Wolfie and him on a space. Going through some actually like an actual investing, long-term investing strategy. It's going to be pretty fun. We get some great guests. Coinbase. Let us see. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. So it looks like we're cracking the midline there. We need to adjust. Ooh, you may be right, my friend. That's an interesting pivot. I agree. 10-15 to the upside. And if crypto keeps running, you got more. I agree. I'm long Coinbase shares. I don't have any options open, but it's definitely worth a little exploratory committee. We'll definitely do that in the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord and you're not getting those daily trade alerts, make sure you're in there. You can follow my channel for free. It is everything you need to make money in this market. I kid you not, from SPY options trades to long-term equity trades and so much more. Get in there and get a coach. Learn how to do this, learn a strategy, help you manage your risk so that you can do this the right way. Just join the Discord. You can get it through the WAP link. It's going to be your best bet. There's so much in there that is completely and totally free that will blow your mind. If you feel like you've fallen behind in the market or you're not making it count, then this is where you need to be. This is what you need to be doing. I think we have over 100 hours of free education, free trade alerts going on all the time, constant live streams, live day trading, and so much more. Make sure you get in there and get a taste of it, taste of the good life. Let's make you a little bit of money. I don't want you to spend any money on any of our products. I want you to come make some money for free. And then once you've made some money, you can decide if you want to spend it. The Discord, you can find that at wap.com/pbalerts. Yep, he's already got the link. Again, it's free. You can follow my channel. So all these trades you hear me talking about, we're up 200% on BABA options. We're up 40% on that snowflake trade, all this stuff, the SPY options I'm posting in there, if not daily, at least a couple times a week, giving you all that alpha. The goal is to make you guys some money. If you like what we have to offer, then you hire one of our coaches and they teach you how to evolve, right? Like we can make some money with you following some trades, but what you need to do is evolve a strategy. We have 4 key strategies that my whole portfolio is built on. Again, we pride ourselves on the transparency more than anything else. So I don't mess around with nonsense. Like I said, we focus on the year to date more than anything else. That is the key driver here. And as I said from the beginning, we're always going to be straightforward with you on what that is. Right now, it's we're up 121% year to date. So all the trades you see me post in my channel, those are the only trades I take in this account. So currently up 200 something percent or 200 something. 121. Jeez, I'm tired. I've been on camera all day, baby. I'm exhausted. But yeah, get in there, guys. I mean, the analysts are there to help. You can get your questions answered, all the things that you don't get on some of the other social channels. You do get in the Discord because it is a tight-knit community. We love what we do and we love sharing it with you. So I hope you come do it with us and come make some money. Just make some money, baby. It's free. I'm giving you a free chance to make money. So come do it. If you like what we have to offer, hire a coach, evolve, make you some money. Shit, we'll cover the cost, basically. I know that's what a lot of people do. I've heard that from a lot of people. Like, hey, I followed the free trades and I made $800. Can I get a coach? And how much is it? I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Shy had somebody today that made 100-something grand on one of his picks. Unbelievable. So yeah, best staff in the world, best team in the world, 150 hours of free education. Again, it's not sales stuff in your face. If you don't want to buy anything, don't get the free stuff. Make some money, baby. That's you can find that at wap.com/pbalerts. Save that link before we sign off. There's also a link in our bio on Twitter. That's at pennyboystock if you want to follow it there. Come hang out, man. We're streaming every day. If you like this stream, you're going to love that because it's day in, day out. So again, you see what Shy's done. You see what I do. Let's get you in there and make you some money, baby. So I love y'all. Stay blessed. Vida Zane.